Hello, good day, good
Hello.
morning for our friends in the US, good afternoon, Europe. How's everybody doing? This is Martin Mahler from Astrato, together in yet another exciting Astrato webinar. As you can see, this is live. I can disappear. I can see a lot of M's and it cannot be cut out. So there's literally nothing we can hide. We do everything on the spot, as it should be, in my view. So we have Astrato 360. We renamed the Astrato Live to Astrato 360 to better capture all the other excitement and goodness that we are in general showing. Lots of things have been happening. We've been shipping a lot, but also a lot of activity in the community. Today with us, we have Jason, our community manager, that most of you are familiar with. We have two product managers on the call, Liron Baram and Piers Batchelor, who is also a data superhero, one of 50 exclusive and handpicked select Snowflake champions globally within our organization, a champion. And today we have a lot of exciting things to share and to talk about. Jason will give us a very short roundabout about all the happenings that have been happening around the community. We've attended some events, Orlando Gartner conference personally here, but also we were at HIMSS. As we are ramping up, getting a lot of interesting conversations, good discussions with prospects. You guys who are not just interested in Astrato, but are also using it in production. Great feedback, great guidance. But moreover, Liron and Piers will be showing you some interesting, cool stuff we've been working on, has already shipped, and will be released very soon. If it's not already been released, small nuances, but we're building something really, really great here, extremely powerful. And looking at their smiles, I can see the confidence emitting out of her eyes. So, as always, this is live. Please do ask questions live on the chat. I'll be there helping, answering, and also asking some tough questions myself. But without further ado, enough of me. Over to you, Jason. What's been happening in the world of Astrato, live, in person, digitally?
Thank you very much for that extremely warm welcome. And I must say, it has been an absolute blast of a busy period for us over here at Astrato. I mean, let's just kick things off with Gartner Orlando. You know, the team met and chatted with some awesome users, partners, and I think with Gartner, we really get to see the importance and of sort of the importance and the focus of the community and the customer first approach in the eyes of Gartner. And I think for me, one of the standouts really was the results of the Gartner survey, you know, where they showed that teams in the data analytics space really are finding it increasingly hard to deliver due to roadblocks, you know, staff shortages, skills gaps, that sorts of things. I do recommend you checking out their survey results on their newsroom page. It is a really interesting read, and it really goes to show that sometimes you think the challenges are it's only you facing those challenges, but really it is what far and wide. So it was really interesting to see those, and not only whilst our teams were in Orlando, I think personally we were running one of the most fun and engaging and exciting dashals I've seen in a long time, you know, and this was the March Mad Dash tournament, a la March Madness in the basketball sphere, if you're familiar with that. We had an array of, you know, superb entries, really superb entries. We had a round of judging by our sort of esteemed legends. We also then in the final rounds put it out across LinkedIn for our users, our Astrato fans to vote on which dashboard they thought was the best. And it ended with the victor being Team Deloitte with an outstanding visualization. You know, it was clean, it was crisp, it showed the data in the right places, it's very easy to see, and it really was just fantastic. And, you know, having that sort of fun element to these things is really what it's all about. And I'm very much looking forward to the next challenge. So stay tuned for that. There'll be more on that on the community soon. And then I think a real important showcase for us this month was the Women in Data Visualization. We ran that with our partners at the Data Visualization Society, and we had an incredible panel of women from the length and breadth of roles across the data viz and data analytics scene. You know, it really was absolutely fantastic. The session covered everything from, you know, mentorships, how to establish yourself in the workplace, how to define your career, how to know what you want your career to be. And we we shared a huge amount of resources. So I really do suggest you check that out on our YouTube channel, because there was so much information. It was over an hour long with all the Q&A. Really, really do tune into that.
How many attendees do we had on that?
Martin, let me tell you, it was our most attended, or one of our most attended webinars. We absolutely smashed it. We were in the ballpark of close to 200. It was something else. It really was quite crazy. And yeah, like I said, even if you weren't able to attend, the recording's there. Please tap into the knowledge of our great panelists there. It wasn't even us talking. We had some fantastic people. We had Elizabeth from our side. You've seen her all before. Please do check it out. And then I also wanted to touch on HIMSS Chicago this month. And absolutely, I would like to say one of the most insightful events that I've spoken to people who attended. It's a healthcare focused event. We attended it. Our partners were there. We met and spoke to a lot of fantastic users, and really the importance of data viz and data analytics in healthcare is becoming more and more prominent. You know, with the news on certain cost cuttings and efficiency driving, it really is time for analytics to sort of take it away and establish itself there. And it was an absolute phenomenal event. Stay tuned for a unique post from our team members that attended, and they will dive into the facts and the real insights they got to speaking to everyone there. And then finally, on this one, I would like to celebrate our partnership with Dremio. Later this evening, in fact, we have our very first joint event with Dremio. It is our workshop, Snacks and Stacks, Build Your Modern Self-Service Data Stack. We're really, really excited for this. It is, we're going to cover how these two awesome tools work together seamlessly and the unique advantages of a joined up approach. And again, it is in London. So if you're not in the UK, unfortunately you can't attend, but don't worry, we'll be doing more of these with other great partners as well. And stay tuned from the insights that we sort of allay from this.
Yeah, on that one comment. So Dremio is one additional connector we released, I think officially launched a month ago. So we are a data lake house. And yeah, for those of you guys who are in London, please join us in person. Attendance is free. And we don't just get to have a hands-on workshop, but also hang around, have pizza, talk, and probably also a beer or two. So looking forward to seeing some of you there as well. This is exciting.
Awesome. And that is nearly it from me. One last thing, I really wanted to mention the Content Hub. You know, this is an absolute amazing resource. Everything I've just spoken about and more is on here. You know, we've got articles, we've got blog posts, we've got guides, we've got all of our upcoming events and webinars. You can find our recordings here of our previous webinars as well. It really is the one-stop shop for everything. And then obviously I'm going to sell it, this big, beautiful button here for community. So not only can you read and absorb all our great content, but then you can go direct to the community with your burning questions and talk to us and everyone else in the community directly as well. And that is truly a beautiful thing. So without further delay, I think that is it from me. I would like to bring on the next speaker in this session. That would be Liron. So Liron, hello, hello, hello.
And we kicked him out.
Thank you, Jason.
Thank you.
Can you bring up my screen also? So everyone sees my screen.
Liron, if you don't mind, I can stay here on the call and comment.
Yeah.
Leave. But maybe you can zoom in a little bit. You know, I'm getting a bit older, so my eyes are not that well.
You should, we can. Okay, so a lot of new and exciting new feature stuff on our data view editor slash some people might consider it a semantic layer where we define our connection relation between tables. This time we will use a set of tables. One of it is about product and stocks, and the other is about sales, so orders, a customer, etc. So I selected all my table. First improvement we made is improving our automatic join suggestions that now use a better algorithm to find suggestions and put them in the right order, and I can apply my suggestions and my table are connected. Another new improvement, if I zoom in and my table are quite big, you can just collapse it to see all your tables. Now what I see here is I have my stores and it's connected to stocks, but I do remember that stores is also connected to orders. So in the past, even in Astrato, I needed to know how to connect those two tables to find the right field. But we added another great feature, especially for people like me that enjoy only using their mouse and not thinking too much. If I drag a table on top of another table, we now run a deep dive and search for the best options to connect the table. But because we couldn't come with an absolute sure recommendation, we are not connecting the table. We just offer the user the option to select from. Here I have store ID to store ID, and I can connect it. Now, an interesting thing about this, and let me arrange a little bit the table so to highlight it. Now, when I connected it, we basically created a loop. So store, it's connected to stocks that connect to product, to order items, to orders, and back to stores. A lot of traditional BI tools won't even allow you to create these structures because it might create ambiguous results. I will demo later how our engine and approach allow us to create this structure, which means for developers and also for users, it's much more understandable type of structure rather than duplicating one of the table or trying to connect stocks with orders item to sort out somehow the ambiguity of the question. But there is another thing I want to do with my stores tables, and this is that I want to find a store, the customer that have stores in their region. But I don't want it to be connected because I know that customer doesn't have a store really for them. I want to use the store table once again. And we introduced another great feature, which is duplicating a table. Let's call this new table local stores. And we have a new table that's connected to customers using our new feature. So in that case, although I offer something that maybe seems good, I see as a user, I understand that store ID and customer ID both have numbers, so they might be able to find things, but they know what I'm looking for, so I'll use zip code. And if you ask yourself why it's only colored as average connection, then information is here. What I can immediately see is that we have 3 stores while we have 195 different zip codes in our customer list, and actually only 24 of our customers have a store in the same zip code area that they are living in. But it's another question. Now, because I'm using the same table, I do want to make some small changes to the table itself. So I can preview the data, but I can also edit the data. So let's just add here local, so we can distinguish it from the field of store name. And last thing to prepare before we go on is that in our order items, we have order ID, record ID, quantity, and list price. But we do want to calculate the total of each line and aggregate it and do some calculation on it. So we'll create a new field. And once again, very easy, no need to use your keyboard or anything, just quantity, multiple by list price, and yeah, we need to give it a name, line total. And the nice thing is immediately it's appear, I can see that it's working. 2 multiply 150, close to 3,100. And I want to create another additional field that will actually show me the net, so take into account also the discount. So let's do it quick. Another calculation. And quantity multiply by unit price and discount.
That's quite an advanced expression. Do you think? Are you sure I'm not going to break my Snowflake instance in the back end?
I'm sure, because it's only it's calculated on a row level, so it's not aggregating anything.
Okay, Liron, you know me quite well, right? So I'm more closer to the business. Of course, I have BI experience, but I have a very short attention span and patience. I love going to Astrato, just adding all my data. But in the past, I heard whenever there's a circular loop or circular join, as you presented just earlier, it just means the data model is bad. I did a mistake. It will break everything. Does it break?
It doesn't break. It's actually make it, and we will show it in a query in a second. Last thing we added before we start looking into the data, we added a new feature in our measures. So we added the line total, so we can actually aggregate the sales. But what we actually want to show is the share of sales of different entities. So if we go in here now, and we have a new simple flag, total. This means that for each row, the divider result will be the same. So we can use it as percentage, and let's call it share of sales. And let's start having a look at our data. So first thing, let's look at our stores, and let's compare the stock quantity to the sales quantity, just to make sure that actually our loop is working. And okay, and as you can see, we can get the result. We can, even if we want, we can drill down into a product name. As we manage stock on a product level, we can add the product name here, and we will be able to see a quantity of stock. We see that the names aren't really good, so let's call it stock, and we will replace it with stock, so we can distinguish between sales and stock. So we can see for each product, and the nice thing, if we looked at a query, nothing is hidden from you. So the way we manage it in the query for SQL is basically, and this is where our unified star schema engines come into play. Instead of trying to do everything in one loop, we basically build two different queries that are on the store and product level from the different fact tables and combining together. And this allows us to handle this, something that from users, they don't care. They want to see stock from stores versus sales, and all those loops are technical terms. They are not business terms. So
and I think that's a very good point, Liron. You know, I think there's probably a advanced techie audience, or BI developer audience, who appreciates this very much. But you know, I just want to build my analytics. I want to answer my questions, and I want to select my data and build my workbook. But in the past, I always had to model my data for the BI tool. And what you're saying right now, and if I get this correctly, we're skipping that.
Yes, we allow you to just connect your table in an intuitive way and start asking the query.
Perfect.
And last thing, we say that we had a new type of measure. So share of sales, let's bring it in. Let's remove this one. So if we want to look at our share of sales, and let's remove the stores so it will be easy. So our highest product share of sales is this one, which is 6.9 to track/2016. And for the techie people, what we do for totals, we basically create, once again, we managed to do it by combining more than one query and using cross joins. Once again, everything is here. If you ever want to run those queries by yourself, you can just copy them. So this is it. And for me, someone that doesn't like to work a lot with his keyboard, I'm really excited about all those new features and our ability to basically handle complex structures without the need to do a lot of thinking how you combine your data. And I
I
think,
love that. No
yeah,
thinking required.
yeah.
Basically a mantra. And Liron, if you can maybe give us a little bit of a hint, what are the most like 1, 2, 3 exciting things that's coming into the semantic layer? Did I just say semantic layer? I think it is one actually. We call data view, but really it's a business definition layer. So what other things are coming from the magic of your corner very, very soon?
We are going to introduce new type of dimension for analytics, group dimension, where you can define a group of fields and allow user to either drill down or drill through, change the dimension. We are going to expand the data explorer to probably allow you, starting with a pivot view, combining tables and maybe even some visualization. And we are going to improve even more the way you can join tables. So basically our goal is that every user can just select a set of tables, and either we can automatically connect them, or by improving our helping tool, as you saw, connect them without the need to really go field by field or manually connect table. All you will need to do is apply us to tables, drag and drop.
And I heard charts, cyclical dimension, drill down dimension, which means I might not even need the workbook edit, so I can fully explore, deep dive into my Snowflake warehouse in a business-friendly UI without breaking anything. Sounds like paradise to me.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Liron. That's exciting.
Yeah.
So, moving on to Piers. Now, Piers is working on the front of the site where, well, okay, I don't want to steal your thunder, Piers. I think you're a show and you're off. So, go, blow us away.
Okay. Well, thanks, Liron and Martin. I love that we have data query insights everywhere. I'm one of those techie people, big fan of the keyboard. Sorry, Liron. But I've got my product manager hat on now, so nothing techie from me. But yeah, like Martin said, a few topics to show in the workbook today, and we'll start with histograms. So histograms enable new types of analysis. They provide a clear understanding of numerical data that's part of a continuous distribution. So that could be age, hours in a day, or what I have on screen, order value. And they help you identify important insights that might be hidden in a single numerical or temporal, so time, date-based field. And the histogram here is available let's add one here. It's available underneath bar charts. I can add a histogram nice and easy here. I'm going to reproduce what I had on the other screen. We're going to add in order value. So already, because it's counting itself, you can see that in the query, data query insights. It's adding the frequency of the order value. So now if I want to interact with that, that's nice and easy. It's made possible by using the slider filter. So I can select a range, let's say 26 to 63, and I've applied that, and it's updated my histogram. So now the updated average is 40.8 and 26. Of course, I can customize the slider filter with quick select for faster filtering, and I can style it any way that I like as well over here. And in this one, I'm actually using the total sales value inside the slider filter, which has a distribution bar. So let's take a look at
So I can easily analyze distributions in my data set, which is great for statistical analysis with, just, defining one dimension, which sounds exciting. What about, you see here that the x-axis is predefined. What if I want to create my own kind of buckets or distances?
So if you want to create your own buckets, that's something that we'll have coming soon, and we'll be able to specify the ranges or the number of buckets, and even have extra buckets as an option. So be able to show buckets outside of that range. So if I had example 0 to 5 up to 10, 20, for example, anything above 20 will be 20 plus. So it would be nice and easy to use. And that's something that would be set in the DVE, in the data view editor.
Super.
So to add it in here, similar to the histogram, we've got the distribution bars, and we do have some basic binning here. So I can add in the count here and set the step distance to 5. Nice and easy. I can set the number of bars. Let's set it quite wide, quite broad, 40. Add a splash of color. The same one that I did before, just to show you how quick it is to set up, and it's all done. So the last thing that I want to show you today is...
Sounds great. It sounds like I'll be able to create a histogram on my own then.
Anyone can do it. It's actually quite simple because it's the same field with the same dimension and measure use the same field. The only difference is you're counting that field. So it's already possible using our bar chart, but what's better than having it with even less setup, less code? You can simply just add it to your sheet and go from there. You don't need to add dimension and measure, you just add one field. So the media gallery, we're going to add an image that I've uploaded earlier, and I can fit that image in. Now I haven't had to add in a URL link, I've actually uploaded it in here. So if I upload a new image, I can pick one of these, an illustration that I prepared earlier, and I can pick an existing folder or add a new folder. I'm going to pick my existing illustrations folder. I'm going to add it to tenant, so this is going to be visible for everybody. Sorry if I've ruined a clean folder.
So you're saying I can upload my images into my Astrato tenant, so I can always reuse them from there. I don't have to worry on where I can host them. Astrato does it all for me.
It's done all for you. That's right, Martin. And I've just
And
dragged it onto the sheet.
obviously, like, we're gonna upload, let's say, all our brand assets, our company logo and maybe some certain items that reflect the sales team and others. How can I make sure that somebody else can use it as well?
So to
Or
make
do
sure
they have
someone else
to?
can use it, that is done in the upload. If I upload another one, just to go back in case you missed it, add to tenant, save media for access by all workbooks. As simple as that. Anybody can manage that. Of course, that's governed. And there's one of our brand assets.
So I think, God forbid, right? But we have maybe bigger user base on Australia. Somebody from the company uploads an image that we don't have the rights to, so we're not allowed to host it. So I'm an admin. How can I make sure that this is under control?
So that will be done in the admin section. Let's go in, and I could remove one of these here. I can move it to another folder. So I've got a duplicate. Perfect example. Let's remove one of these. Hopefully it's not this one that I've added. Let's permanently delete this image. So this is that image right there. So I've just removed a duplicate image. It's nice and easy to manage it. But we also have custom image settings as well. So if you want to make use of our layering capabilities and our pixel perfect design, yes, I can put this on top of a chart or behind a chart by adjusting my layers, send it to the back, for example. But I can make sure that I reduce saturation, for example, so I'm not distracting it.
That was interesting. That sleeping person, or half sleeping, I think they're on their phone, and you put it on a chart. It started looking a little bit like an infographic, person on a chart.
Oh yeah, it's a classic one that you see in other BI tools in the past, going as far back as 15 years. Any pixel perfect design is now made so much easier because you can customize the image just to suit exactly what you want to achieve. Yeah. So very powerful tool. Make sure you check it out. Let's see what you can come up with. If you can build any sort of infographic with our visualizations and images layered on top of each other, that would be fun to see. a little challenge for the community.
Cool. Thank you, Piers. A little bit light, but rest assured, everybody, you can see in Piers's background, we are attending the Snow Summit end of June. Joe Warburton, we will see you there, of course. We'll cling you to our booth. We'll wrap you with Astrato merchandise and anybody else who comes to visit us, for sure. But that also means we have a lot of things in the pipeline that we expect to ship at the beginning of June in preparation for Summit, such as AI insights, explain data, also the ability to build more advanced write-back applications, and a lot of little tiny things run left, such as cyclical dimensions, if statements on measures. So with this, thank you very much for attending, and stay tuned. And as always, we're here for you to be reached out to. Smile bright, and yeah, come visit us if you're in Vegas. Other than that, follow us, and stay in touch, everybody. Thank you very much.
Thanks, everyone.